There is a chronological kind of timeline to the drawing. It's basically from the point that the plague hits the city. What people are going through is something that I want to document, as well as what the colonial authorities are doing in terms of clamping down on not wanting the disease to spread. The plague kind of starts in 1894 in China, and then 2 years later it lands on Bombay. This is where the disease actually explodes. There is a widespread panic, and it's from that point that it kind of really spreads to the rest of India. By 1905, there are about 1 million people that perish due to the plague. But the large amount of deaths that started occurring in a short period of time is what scared the authorities. In some sense, I don't look at the drawing as an output. I look at the drawing as research material. I dabble with different elements and aspects of research. Now, what's interesting within this is there's one section called the Index of Evidence. Each subtopic talks about the various possibilities of what caused the disease or what could have been the causation, which gives you a good broad sense of what the authorities are thinking, because they are looking at ways to arrest the spread of the disease. I managed to procure the Hindi Punch cartoons from the Asiatic Library in Mumbai. By 1896, the plague has hit, so the entire magazine becomes about the plague. And then it's about either critiquing the municipality, which they say is doing a shoddy job or whatever. So I thought that this was an important kind of alternate voice. Like there's this one example of a family that is discussing how they can escape the plague. So the father-in-law suggests that they escape in a balloon because the plague germs will not be able to catch them, and the sun's rays will destroy the plague microbes. The British authorities were very worried that the plague would spread back to Europe. There were already different ports around which were beginning to start quarantine measures on goods coming in from Bombay. This leads to a certain set of draconian measures that are imposed by the colonial administration. They controlled where people could go. Large groups were not allowed to congregate. Teams and scores of authorities sprayed the interior of homes with some form of disinfectant. So the idea was disinfectants could clean and sanitize areas as though they are putting out a fire. But the spraying of the streets, in fact, makes the rats kind of escape into other quarters of the city, in fact spreading the disease rather than containing it. There were rumors that people were being killed in hospitals, right? So there were laborers that rioted and attacked a hospital. They beat up some of the hospital administrative people and they broke windows, etc., etc. They did all this during their lunch break. Then they went back to work. So it's this kind of bizarre situation that's unfolding. There's a spark that comes from a general unrest, and that unrest could be something that was building up over a period of time. But one of the main episodes that happened was that there was an inspection team that went into a Muslim weaver community. They tried to remove a very young girl, segregate her and put her in the hospital and separate her from her parents. And within that short period of time, a lot of other members of the community came in, and then they chased this team out. They tried to gain control of the situation, and then stones were thrown, and then shots were fired, and suddenly there were 7 dead people. My drawing gets more informed with the more information that I find. It's been really fruitful to make the drawing knowing that I have the information that allows me to explore within the research and within the material that is there. It's the best way to kind of be more informed about the subject.